Welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn how we can convert observed values for a variable which is normally distributed to a z-score. Okay, so the question here says, suppose x follows a normal distribution with mean 10 and variance 25. That is, x is normally distributed random variable with mean 10 and variance 25. What I've already said anyway. Find the z-score if we observe that x is equals to 20, it is equals to 5, and it is equals to minus 2. Okay, so now the formula for finding the z-score is z is equals to, okay, let's write this z like this. Z is equals to the observed value x minus the population mean divided by the standard deviation of that population. So that is the formula. So now this z-score here, it just tells us how many standard deviations, okay, an observed value is above or below the mean. Okay, so meaning that if you find your z-score and you find that this z-score is positive, then it means that, okay, the value that, the observed value that you have is actually above the mean, okay? If the z-score that you're going to find is negative, it means the observed value is what? Below the mean. And if the z-score that you found is equals to 0, then it means that the observed value is equal to the what? To the mean. So that's the meaning of a different z-score value that you are going to be what? To be finding. So now let's find the first one. Okay, so the first one, x is equals to 20. So part 1, z-score will just be equals to x is 20 minus the mean is 10 divided by the standard deviation. So now in this question, we've been given the variance, sigma squared. So this is not 6, it is a sigma. Okay, so sigma squared is equals to 25. So now if I want to find this guy here, again, this is not 6, but it's sigma representing standard deviation. And then when you square it, it represents variance. So to find the standard deviation, you're just going to say square root this and also square root that. So sigma, which represents standard deviation, will just be equals to 5. Okay, don't say 6 is equals to 5 here. No, this is sigma. Sigma, 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 sigma. Okay, yeah, so this is sigma is equals to 5. So that is my standard deviation. Okay, so sigma is simply equals to 5. So I'm going to divide by sigma 5. So this will just be equals to 20 minus 10, this 10 divided by 5. And this is just going to give me a z-score of what? 2. So now remember what we said. We said if we have a positive z-score, then it means that our observed value is above the mean. So now look at the observed value. The observed value is 10. Is 20, sorry, and the mean is 10. So you can see that it is actually above the what? The mean. Okay, but what does that mean? Remember we said the z-score tells us how many standard deviation an observed value is above or below the mean. So the z-score is 2 here. So meaning that this observed value, the 20, it is 2 standard deviations above the mean. Okay, it is 2 standard deviations above the mean. So this is my mean. Then what is my standard deviation? It is 5. So we are saying 2, right? So let's see if we add 2 standard deviations, if we are going to get 20. So plus 5 standard deviation plus another one, we see that we are going to get what? 20. So that's what this z-score means. Okay, just means the standard deviation is above or below, depending on the value that you find. Okay, so the z-score for part 1 is 2. Let's find the z-score for part 2. So that will just be the observed value is 5 minus 10 divided by 5. So this will just be minus 5 over minus 5. Oh, over 5. And this will just be a minus what? 1. Okay, so now we have a minus 1. Okay, and that z-score value is negative. So meaning that our observed value is below the mean. And if you can check, the observed value was 5, which is less than the mean, which is what? 10. Okay, and this, since this is negative, it's going to mean that my observed value, okay, is one standard deviation below the mean. Okay, one standard deviation below the mean because there's a negative there. Okay, so the z-score for here is simply -1. What about part 3? Okay, so part 3, we have the z-score value is equals to, let's write properly. We are mathematicians. So z-score value is equals to the z-score, the observed value is -2. So that is -2, and then minus the mean 10 divided by 5. So this will just be -12, then divided by 5, and that is going to give me a z-score value of what? Okay, so -12 divided by 5, I get -2.4. So meaning that, okay, this z-score value indicates that the observed value is below the mean. And you can see that this -2 is actually below there. Okay, so what would this mean now? It will just mean that the observed value, okay, it will mean that the observed value is 2.4 standard deviations below the what? Below the mean. So the z-score value for part 3, it's -2.4. And we're done with the question. So very easy, very simple to do. Right, so thank you so much for watching. This has been Tutorable Solutions. And if you'd like to access more helpful videos, more simple videos, more explained videos, please don't hesitate to actually subscribe at discretelearning.com. So just check the link in the description below here to give you a link to a video on how to subscribe on our platform, how to use it, and how to make payments for any of the courses that you want. So if you want, if you are in first year, and you want videos on these guys here, subscribe for the course that is written mathematics. Okay, on the website, you can finish the word. But if you're in second year, third year, fourth year, subscribe for the course that is written probability and statistics. All right, so thank you so much for watching. This has been Tutorable Solutions. Until next time, always there for you.